Okay, so when we're talking about feng shui for love and supporting self-love, all of our relationships really are intimate, loving relationships, for ones that we're getting ready to align with and call in and share our lives with, or our present relationships. So the first area and the main area we're going to look at is the bedroom. I mean, all areas of the home are very important, but when it comes to talking about feng shui for love, the bedroom is really important, right? So, so first of all, bed positioning. So in order for us to have a really good night's sleep, so that when we have a good night's sleep, we all know this, right? We wake up feeling better. Everything is brighter in our lives. Everything is easier. So most importantly, with the 101 in the feng shui, we would start with the bed position, right? So I'd love to go over, I think you can all see my mouse. So the most important things to keep in mind when we're positioning our bed, right? Um, Based on your year of birth, there is a specific directions that come, but also we're going to talk about the most important things to keep in mind, right? So number one is we don't want to be sleeping in line with the door. So let's just say, for example, that's a solid wall, and we could put the headboard there, but that way we're getting what we would say in feng shui is kind of getting hit with that sha. There's qi, which is good energy, and there's sha, which is not good energy, right? Stuck or stagnant energy. So if we're sleeping like in line with the door, we're getting hit by a lot of energy. So when the energy enters, it's much better that the headboard is right here up against a solid wall, right? So the energy isn't hitting it. And we really love to sleep with a solid wall, to sleep up against a solid wall. In feng shui, we would call this like the mountain support. And having that solid wall behind us when we sleep at night gives us that support to sleep really well. So ideally, again, if this, like we'll talk about, because we don't really want to sleep under windows and other things, but I'm just talking about if we have a solid wall. Now, this one at an angle, for example, is not recommended. And the reason for that is there's a lot of energy moving above the headboard. We want it really up against a solid wall, because if there's a lot of energy here, it makes it harder to sleep. It's almost like energy swirling around at our heads when we're trying to sleep at night. So again, this would be a good position right here. Again, you're not directly in line with the door, the bed's moved over. But again, we'd rather the bed positioned, if possible, depending on the room. All rooms are different. If we can center it in the wall, if that's possible. Now, this is another option. Let's just say, for example, this was all windows. So let's say this was the only option, then we would just move it over so you're not directly in line with the door. This kind of bed is a perfect position, for example, if somebody was trying to move forward in life, or let's say, for example, somebody was ready to leave home, right? And they want to have that energy to support them where they're not as comfortable in their space. And they're kind of positioning like exiting the door, and there's a lot of energy above their head. And I wouldn't recommend this for a long time, but if it was a really short window where somebody was trying to get momentum going, and I've seen a lot of people for very short term position their headboards in this way for opportunities to come, like so they can move on out, whether to go travel, get a job, meet somebody. But for long term, I suggest like a nice solid wall there. Okay, so we don't recommend beds under windows, right? Because we want to have that solid support. We really want to make sure. So there's a couple of things that are not great in this photo. One is we'd rather sit up and look out the window, and especially in this case, these windows look a little older, so there's drafts coming in, and then having just glass above your head is not ideal. We want to have a solid wall, and we'd rather be across from the window if possible. Now, sometimes I've been in and out of spaces where people don't even actually have an option, and they have to go up against a window. So what I would suggest is that and I always suggest this anyway, but we've got a solid wooden headboard. And if you think about our meditation at the start, right? The wood is the tree with the roots going deep into the earth. So the reason why we'd ideally love to have a wooden headboard is It's very calming when we sleep at night because, for example, metal is a very high energy element. It makes it hard to sleep at night. Whereas a solid wooden headboard is very grounding, right? It had its roots going deep into the earth. It's a very soft and gentle element to have. So a solid wooden headboard. And if you had to be under a window, then I would suggest like really heavy, thick curtains, like velvet curtains and a big, strong wooden headboard. And that would help a lot. So if that's the only option you have, which is the case, sometimes all three walls have windows. And then it's also really important that we don't sleep near electrical boxes, the EMF. Now, a lot of the time they aren't positioned in the bedroom, but if there is, where the electricity gets, trip switch and all that is on the box, we want to make sure that if that is in the only available room that we have to sleep in, that our headboard is as far away from that as possible. It can lead to headaches and even more intense things if, we're sleeping too close to it. So as I was saying, a bed at an angle makes it less comfortable and encourages movement and change. And then it's really important when we're laying down that we can see our own reflection, right? If you think about a gym or something, right, there's walls of mirrors, which makes it really yang and really active, right? The yang, we got yin and yang. Yin is the night, the peaceful, the soft, the more feminine, and the yang is the daytime. It's the sun. It's the more masculine energy. So in bedrooms, we look at the mirror as being a very yang element. Now you can have a mirror in your bedroom. The main thing is you just don't want to be able to see your reflection when you're laying down, right? In Feng Shui, it makes it harder to sleep at night, but also whatever the mirror sees, it kind of, it energizes it. And so the more, I'd say, superstitious side of Feng Shui says that it can invite another partner into a relationship, as in like a third partner into a relationship. So mirrors are fine as long as you can't see your own reflection when laying down. And then a lot of the time you see these like completely mirrored closet doors. And for me personally, that would be really hard to sleep at night, that amount of yang energy. So simple things that you can do is sometimes the closet doors can be turned around and it's wood on the back. You can get these strips of frosting that will soften the mirrors. You can hang linen, you can remove them. And it just depends if somebody owns a home or rents a home, because it's going to, make a big difference about what you implement and how you do. I love the strips that I was telling you about. They're fantastic because they're really inexpensive. And if you're renting, you can just peel them off if that's what they want afterwards. And then next of all, ideally, we don't want to be storing things under the bed, right? Or a bed like this is not really recommended, or the beds that come with drawers and everything, because what happens is we tend to just pile a load of clutter down there because they tend to be deeper drawers, bigger doors, and we just stuff stuff down there. And the thing is the bedroom, the things about the bedroom is only really for rest and romance, right? That's the most important thing the bedroom is for. So having loads of clutter and stuff under the bed, it makes it really hard to sleep at night. And depending what's under there, it can cause lack of sleep, but also kind of uncomfortable sleep or a lot of dreaming, depending what's down there. So for a good night's sleep and allowing good energy flow, which is really important for health, we want to make sure there's nothing underneath the bed, right? So I chatted a little bit about that. So this is a good example of a nice solid wall over the headboard. But like I was mentioning, ideally, we'd rather not have a metal headboard. And this kind of a one with the railings kind of gives the impression of like this jail kind of feeling. And we definitely don't want to give that energy, right? And in Feng Shui, metal is a very high energy element. So if we have that running through our beds, at our headboard and everything, it makes it really hard for us to sleep at night. Okay, so the next thing is, that I'll always talk about in Feng Shui, and I think most of us know the importance of clutter, and we'll talk more about that. But for right now, for those beloveds that are single and would like to come into a relationship, or for somebody who would like to deepen their present relationship, it's really important that we let go of things from past relationships. Now, this doesn't mean completely letting go of your past, right? Definitely not saying that. But for example, if you've got lots of love letters, right, from the past or from past relationships, it's like in some way that you're still holding on, right? And so it's not really giving space for your present relationship or for you to align and bring somebody in to share your life with. And it's a really amazing process, because what a lot of people share is they start clearing the stuff out and they cannot believe how much they've got. Or if somebody was previously married, how they might even still have their wedding ring or a wedding tux or dress or something still in their closet, you know? So again, it's not like you have to completely erase everything from the past, but there is definitely an importance of not keeping everything that will kind of energetically keep you stuck in that relationship and won't let you move forward. So if, you know, if it is anything that is not serving, and especially something that was from a relationship that maybe wasn't very good, it's bringing an energy into the space. So that's a really important place to start. It doesn't cost anything, but to just start going through things. And if you're having a hard time releasing things, you have to ask yourself why. Like, okay, this relationship is done. It's been done for however, how long. Why am I having a hard time releasing this? And this is a really good self-reflection, soul question to ask yourself. Like, what is it about this, or what is it that I'm wanting to hold on to this? So it's really powerful. Same thing with photos. And I think that that's really hard, you know, because we're in all the photos, a lot of the photos. So I know if we've traveled, we've gone to places in these with people from these past relationships. So what I would say is, if you've got a whole load of very similar pictures from that same trip, maybe you can minimize it down, right? Because we want to free up the energy. We want to make space and make space for the new. Okay. So, and then things that you maybe have been given, right? So presents that you're given. And so I think one thing that's really important is that, again, I'm not saying you have to let go of every single thing, but sometimes, let's say, for example, we have a bracelet or a special tie or something that an ex partner had given us, right? One thing that's really important is to hold it and see what it ignites, how you feel when you look at it, when you hold it, when you touch it. Because for some people, it makes them sad or reminds them of that person, or that's all they can think about. But some people say, well, I just like the tie, or I just like the bracelet. And if that is really true for you, then maybe you can energetically clear it. You just have to make sure that you are being really, really true, because these gifts and these items hold a lot of energy. And it just really depends if you do want to move forward, and if you do want to bring in something new, or you do want to deepen that present relationship. So we've been talking about making space, right? So, you know, the closet is a really important part. And in life, you know, I think people's lives are so full nowadays, right? And a lot of people's lives are busy, and the home does reflect that. And in this case, if we look at this closet, like, it's full to the brim. So if somebody, let's say, was single and they wanted to invite somebody into their lives, it's kind of saying, well, I've got no space, I've got no room. So what I would suggest, and it's a powerful, powerful practice anyway, but going through your entire closet, and if you haven't worn something in a year, right, just really, like, do I still need this, use it, and love it? Like, these are really good questions. Do I need it? Do I use it? And do I love it? Like that's kind of your mantra as you go through your home. Do I need it? Do I use it? Do I love it? And to keep that process going is really powerful. So what I suggest that you do is you actually make some space in your closet. And 8 is a very auspicious number in Feng Shui, and it represents infinite, and it's abundance, and it's joy. So having at least 8 empty hangers and creating a space, maybe like eight centimeters or 8 inches or something within your closet. And you're doing all this with intention, right? The power of intention is so powerful. So I am doing this. Now, it could be for your present relationship or to bring in that relationship. I'm making more space for me and my partner in our present relationship, or I am making space in my life, in my home, to align with this beloved. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean, that they're going to be moving in unless that's something you wanted. It's just saying I am energetically making space in my life. So I think that's what's really important. And as far as our health and our well-being, well, the more clutter, things that we don't need, use, and love that we release out of our home, out of our lives, we create more space, we give ourselves more energy, we create more abundance. So it's such a powerful, powerful process. So there you go, making some space, having some open hangers, and you are saying, I am making space in my life for you. And then we want to create that loving space, right? So whether you're in a relationship or bringing that in, that saying, build a village and they will come, will create that space so you can align with it. Because what I love so much about Feng Shui is how it truly is a reflection of how you're feeling internally. That's why, I've been in and out of over 30,000 homes in the last 20 years and helped people and supported people to step into, an area of their life or areas of their life that they want to thrive in. And if you think about it, we spend up to 80% of our time inside. And what an effect our environment has on us. And when it is consciously created, how powerful that can be, how profoundly powerful that can be. So I invite you all to really look around your space, and is it reflecting who you are today and where you want to go in your life, what you want to align with, what you want to bring into your life? Because a lot of the time people are living in a home that is really reflecting the past and past relationships and past experiences that they truly don't align with anymore. So it's a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to release and let go and move forward and to experience in life what you're really ready to experience. So create that environment. Okay, so I think it's really powerful to even just sit with, am I willing to create a space for a loving relationship? So whether you're in a relationship or not, am I willing to create a space for a loving, caring, high vibrational relationship? And so everything you're going to be learning today is all these beautiful invitations for you to change things in your home. If I'm going to ask you to really look at what changes you can make from what you've learned. So the other thing is we really want to keep all the EMFs and the electrical stuff like out of the bedroom, right? Because electric magnetic fields, that's the EMF stands for, is not really good for our bodies when we're sleeping at night. And definitely bringing things like laptops and televisions and phones and stuff into the bedroom is not ideal, especially if we're doing work stuff. Like, we want to keep work out of the bedroom. We don't want that to represent work. We want to have a space that we do our work, and then a space that represents our rest and romance. So what I suggest is that we have some kind of like a charging station as far away from the bedroom as possible, where the laptops and phones and everything go. So the bedroom is for love and romance. So this is what happens when one starts bringing things into the bedroom, and it creates a disconnect. And when you could be intimate and sharing and everything instead, and this can go either way, or both parties can have it in there, that it's just really not saying, I want to be present with you. I want to be intimate with you. I want to hear about your day. I care. So we really want to have that really clear, especially for people that work from home and people also that have their own businesses. It's like there isn't really an on and off switch. And that's important, how we cultivate and create that in our environments. So that's where I say, it is good to set yourself some hours, and it is good to like have everything turned off and have if possible, it's not possible for everyone, but to have a separate room that you do your work in, and then everything gets closed and you close that door. So then you can, if you're working from home, have that, separation between your work and your personal life. So it's really, really important not to be bringing that into the bedroom. And then, we want to have everything in our home that represents, I want to share my life with somebody. Like, so we want to have things in pairs to represent that. If everything is single, like the amount of homes that I've been in and out of where people are single and would like to bring in a loving relationship, and maybe aren't quite ready or getting ready, but sometimes the amount of single men or women around the space through statues and through artwork, which did serve. I think that's the most important thing I always say. It serves until it's not serving anymore, because maybe they needed time to get to know who they were and they needed time to heal from a previous relationship. So that's really important. So balance in the relationship is really, really important. So that's why we always want to bring things in pairs and we want to create that space. But if we've got nothing but single artwork around the space, it's going to lead to staying single, right? And then it's really important that we look at everything in the bedroom, right? And around the home. So if we have a nightstand on one side of our bed, we want to have a nightstand on the other. If we've got a light on one side, we want to have a light on the other, because we're saying you matter. There's space for you. Just like we made space in the closet, it's the same thing in the bedroom, right? We want to look at the artwork. Is the artwork all of single people or is it of love? Is it of stormy artwork? And is that the energy that we want to bring into the bedroom? Now, I see that there's a couple of questions here. Okay, sorry, it was just somebody let me know about the timing of something. Yes, so supportive artwork for love is really, really important in the bedroom, right? We want to step into the bedroom and we want it to exude love, right? We want the artwork, everything in pairs. We want it to feel romantic, because by creating that space, we're creating that energy in there. And what is that saying, right? Where attention goes is where the energy flows. So we wanted to flow in that direction. Now we want to add artwork in the bedroom that represents love. Now this is just one example. This is the kiss. It's a beautiful piece. And what I love about it so much is the embrace between the pair of them, the love that you can feel when you look at this piece. It's palpable, it's beautiful. But it's got to be artwork that you love. And it could even just be a beautiful photo that you took of two flowers, like something that represents love to you. But artwork is profoundly powerful when it comes to Feng Shui. If you think about it, it's going into your unconscious, subconscious mind all the time. And especially that piece of artwork that is at the foot of your bed, right, on that wall, because it's the first thing you see when you wake up in the morning. And it's the last thing you see before you go to sleep at night. And what a powerful, profound effect that artwork has on you. So be really mindful about what that piece of art that you have when you wake up. And then we don't want to have a family wall of pictures in the bedroom, right? For the simple fact that when we are being intimate, like, we don't need every single family member staring at the wall, in-laws, kids, whatever it is. So to really enhance intimacy in relationships, we want to have all those family pictures out. And so if you are single and you're ready to bring in love, we want to bring the artwork of love in. If you're in a relationship and you just want to enhance it and support it, bring in just photos of you and your partner, loving ones, joyful ones, intimate ones. You may have ones when you first met, but we want recent ones in there, because again, it's all about setting the intention in the room, and then things just create from there. And then we want to think about what the theme of the room is, right? So this is, if we look at this image, there's way too much energy. There's a lot of energy here. And what is good though is we've got one nice sun on one side, one on the other. We've got a light on one side. So we see that lovely balance of things in pairs. We've got a nice solid headboard, which is good. Now, I wouldn't suggest too much red in the bedroom because it can make it hard to sleep at night. A lot of that, it's a very yang color. Good colors for the bedroom are like really soft greens, which is very grounding, or earth colors, and just a little bit of like the reds, because it is the color for passion and romance. So we want to have statues that represent love and romance as well. So we want to look at everything in our space and make sure we've got things that represent a loving relationship that's really are going to support that. Yeah, so we were saying we want to keep the family pictures out of the room, and like a really grounding, centering color will help us sleep better at night, will be very calming for us, or anything in the real soft pastel color can work really well. And so we want to make sure that the bedroom is not way too feminine or way too masculine, or should I say way too yin or way too yang, right? Because if you are single and it's very, very yang, it's not going to be as comfortable for the feminine energy to come in. And if the bedroom is way, way too feminine, it's not going to be comfortable. Like if it's like this would be very masculine energy, and it mightn't be set up to be very welcoming for a couple, right? So we want to create an environment that has a nice balance between the two. Just like we don't want it too feminine, too pink, too flowery, too many hearts. Like we want to create that beautiful balance of energy. And as you can see in this room, we've got a single woman in the room here, and we definitely wouldn't want some kind of a light just hanging down directly over that, but that would make it hard for us to sleep at night as well. And then I think something that is so important, wherever you're at in your relationships, in your life, but even within our relationships with ourselves, like a lot of the time I see this with clients, that they keep the beautiful bedding and the beautiful like nightwear, pajamas, lingerie, or any of it. They keep it all for when I'm in the relationship, but that's not the way it's done. It's about coming into this place of self-love now and bringing that into your own life for yourself, or bringing that in presently now to the couple, not like, oh, we'll keep all that in the drawer with a tag on it. Like, so we want to be self-loving. We want to create that beautiful romance. We want to date ourselves. We want to be loving with ourselves as well. So then it's also really important that altars are not in the bedroom, right? So again, I understand that sometimes people are living in a studio, so the workspace has to be in there and the altar has to be in there. So if you are, for example, and the office has to be in there, what I would suggest is just making sure that the desk is cleared off at night, the laptop is closed down, no bills, no paperwork is left. It's left like really clean and everything. And then you could maybe do some kind of a beautiful silk over, or some kind of a fabric over the laptop. So it's like, that's the way of closing the office door. And then the same thing with the altar. The altar is our connection to the divine, our connection to source, right? So if you need to have the altar in the bedroom, we just don't want to have it where we're, again, kind of like the mirror where we can see it when we're laying down. Because a lot of the time we have deities on there and sacred objects. And again, they don't need to be staring at us when we're in the bed. So even if it's off to the side, and some altars they come and have beautiful doors to them, which is another option. So again, altars are somewhere that we do like to have them private in our home, because that's where we sit in sacred space and reflection. We give gratitude, we ask for guidance. But we just don't want it like directly across from the bedroom. Again, is for rest and romance. And I've gone into a lot of spaces where I go into rooms and they're like temples. There is so many statues of deities, and it's like, okay, is this the bedroom where you want rest or romance, or is this like a temple, And it's just a matter of making a shift and finding another space for it, and looking at your life and saying, okay, what is important to me right now? And how can I create more balance and harmony in my space and in my life? And it's all about setting the mood, right? So light those beautiful candles. And again, don't wait to light the candles till you're in the relationship, or just light them now and start creating that energy for yourself in your home, in your life. And then you're vibrating at that. And then you align with that, and then you attract that. So that's what's really, really important. It's not, I'll do all that when, I'll go on that trip when I meet that someone. It's like, no, go do it now. Do it now for yourself, right? And then lighting is really important. So candles, I love to put a dimmer switch on the bedroom light, because then you can just gently soften that light, right? Candles are beautiful. Any kind of romantic lighting that you can put in place, but also some kind of a dimmer is really good as well, because having that natural preparation to get yourself asleep at night is really important. I love having lavender, essential oils by the bed, but I also love rose, because the roses are for the heart, and having rose, maybe you can diffuse this, you can diffuse the lavender, but what a beautiful way of creating this energy in your bedroom, and this really calming one as well to help you sleep. Rose quartz is really beautiful to bring into the bedroom, in hearts especially. It's for healing the heart, for welcoming and love. You can do green malachite, green quartz is really good, but all these beautiful crystals, you can work with them and bring them into your space. And the southwest area of our home is related with love and relationship as well. So you could add some rose quartz there. In the southwest area of your home, you can add art of love in the southwest, and also just in that area, especially make sure that there's nothing like a single chair that's alone. You'd be better off having a love seat or something. So the southwest location of your home is the area of love. So we talked about, so if the other thing that's really important when you're sleeping at night is you want to be able to see the door when you sleep. So if the only position is position your bed here, right behind the door, basically you can place some kind of, and this could be a very small, tiny little mirror. You can't see your reflection in it, but it does allow you to see the door. And the reason for this is it allows your nervous system to relax. It allows you to really let go so you can have a really good night's sleep. So we talked about beautiful bedding, new sheets, and I would say that if you are sleeping in a bed from a past relationship, that is a lot of energy. It's better to have a fresh bed. It's better to have a fresh mattress. And I know that's not always possible. So you can give it a good clearing, and we'll talk about that, how you can cleanse the space and how you can cleanse objects, you can cleanse your home. And then you can sit with it and see how you feel. But it is really nice to have a fresh bed. The other thing is we don't really want to, the bedroom, nothing should really come into the bedroom unless it's supporting rest and romance, right? So we don't really suggest exercise workout equipment in the bedroom. So again, if you're in a studio, well, then it needs to come in. I understand that, right? But so exercising can be fun, right? But it also represents hard work. And we don't want to bring that energy of hard work into our bedroom, right? We want the bedroom to just have that which is supporting rest and romance. And I don't want to sound like a broken record with that, but it just invites us to be more mindful about what we bring into our space and how sacred that space is. Fans over the bed, not ideal. I know in hot weather they can be really good, but in Feng Shui, they're like knives going over your head. So it's okay if they're not directly above the bed, and a floor fan is totally fine. A couple other no-nos with this picture is a mirror in the headboard, definitely not ideal. And even like something that has that whole setup over your head is not good. Like in Feng Shui, we don't want to have anything over our heads when we sleep at night, because it makes it feel like we've got the weight of the world on us, right? So really we want to have just a solid headboard with 2 nightstands. And if we need to have a fan, this is a much better option because it's softer, it's fabric, it's not metal, and it will still give, just as good. So another thing that's really important is we don't want to have one nightstand that's really tall and one that's really small, because that starts to represent an imbalance in the relationship, or a tiny lamp on one nightstand and a huge one on the other. We want to make sure that they're of even size, because we're saying we are equally as important as each other in this relationship. We both matter. We both want to honor each other. And, that's what all of this represents. So having things in pairs, light on one side, light on the other, nightstand on one, night on the other, a plant on one, a plant on the other. And speaking of plants, we want to be really mindful about the type of plants that we bring into the bedroom. This one, like, we want to keep away from cactus in the bedroom. We do Shaw energy. It creates a lot of Shaw energy. In Feng Shui, we want to create this soft, gentle, beautiful energy, right? Because that invites the chi in, that invites the love in, the opportunities in. But if we've got pointy, prickly, sharp things in the bedroom, it's going to keep away all the good stuff. And same thing here. I wouldn't suggest having artwork above the bed. And you see the way there's a little ledge here as well. That's not ideal either, because there's one line that runs and kind of would run over the body across as you sleep at night. And that would, what we would call, create a poison arrow. So a lot of the time I would suggest like dry walling over this, or even using some fabric to soften it, or seeing if the bed could get moved to a different location from a health perspective. So there you go. There's the cacti in the bedroom. So that, like, it's really interesting, because when I go in and out of home sometimes, and somebody wants to thinks they want to be in a relationship, but they're not quite ready, they will have a lot of really sharp, pointy items like cactus outside the bedroom door, inside the bedroom. It's like, I think I want a relationship. No, stay away, because having sharp, pointy cactus will definitely keep relationship at bay. Anything sharp or pointy. So we talked about not having the desk in the bedroom, but if you have to, then like just have it nice and clean and tidy, have a nice plant on it, and then just maybe cover the laptop, when you sleep at night. So we want to keep those out of the bedroom, right, as much as possible. And we talked about lighting. We want to support rest and romance. So important. And then we want to make sure, really, really important 101 thing in Feng Shui is to make sure everything in our homes is in good working order, right? So if the door is super squeaky, right, and it's not opening all the way, or it gets jammed, that's representing the energy getting stuck, right? And it's showing that things are not flowing. If there's cracks in the mirror, that's how we look at ourselves. That's how we see ourselves. If there's cracks in the windows, that's how we look out in the world. If our light bulbs are always getting burnt out, it represents us being burnt out. In Feng Shui, water is very associated with prosperity, but also emotions. So if our drains are getting blocked, it's like, where's the money being blocked, or where are the emotions being blocked? So I would suggest, as a Feng Shui 101, is get everything fixed in your home. Everything that you want, the door opening properly, the crack in the window, the light bulb fix, whatever it is, get everything in good working order. That is going to support your health, prosperity, and relationships. Remember, the home is a reflection. So we wanted to reflect everything flowing in divine order. So it's good to have the bed slightly off the floor. We talked about, we want the energy to flow, right? We want the energy to flow around the bed. Like, we want a solid solid wall behind us. We want the energy to be able to flow everywhere else, to invite that energy into our lives. And this is a great plant, for example, in the bedroom, nice rounded leaves. It gives out oxygen when we sleep. It takes away the carbon dioxide. So plants are amazing. So sleeping under a slanted roof, that can make us feel like we got the weight of the world on over our heads, and make us feel like we wake up with headaches. So you can see where this headboard is. It's here under the real low part in the wall, right? If there's another bedroom, I suggest to go into that. If there isn't, at least move the headboard here, so you're under the much higher point. This one, it's like your head is getting like pushed down. It's, if you sat up real quick in the middle of the night, you'd bang your head. So then, do these things prevent you from having a really good night's sleep and not feeling expansive in the world like you want to feel, right? So beams is another biggie in Feng Shui. So you see this one in particular, this beam that's running all the way down the center of this bed, right? Because that energy of that corner and that energy of that corner is cutting right down the center of the bed. Like I said, I've been in and out of thousands of homes, and every single home I've ever been in where the beam runs down the center of the bed, the couple does not last because it's this constant dividing of energy, cutting down between the couple, like separating the couple while they're in the bed. So what I suggest is, of course, you can drywall over beams. You could move to another bedroom if there wasn't beams. Can you move the bed to the wall if there isn't beams above it? And then you can use fabric. I think I might have an image of the fabric. Yeah, there we go. So this is just an example, or you can get one of those beds that do come with kind of a high roof to it. So that's another option. Or you can just drape the beams themselves in a lovely fabric. So this is beloved goddess Kuan Yin. She's like the Bodhisattva, the goddess of love and compassion. And she's got powerful energy to bring in when you would like to bring in more love and loving relationships in your life. You can work with her, you could call her in your meditations, and you can actually bring a statue of her and maybe place her in the southwest area of your home that represents love. And and every single thing that you're doing, place it and put it in or remove it with the power of intention, because that makes it so much more powerful. So essential oils for love, we talked about the rose, the lavender, ylang ylang is another beautiful one for the heart. Jasmine oil stimulates sexual appetite. Sandalwood relaxes the nervous system while awakening desire. And of course, we talked about rose opening the heart, and it is of unconditional love. And then I would also suggest what I call writing a letter. We can say soulmate, we can say life partner, whatever it is that you're comfortable, like whatever is the right word for you. And this is also an exercise that can be written for somebody who's in a relationship and just wanting the relationship really to, improve and to be more in alignment. So if you're single and you're ready to bring in a loving relationship, what I suggest that you do is you meditate on love. You come fully into your heart, and then you have pen and paper next to you. And when you come out of that meditation, you then write your letter to your love, to your life partner. And you write this letter in present tense, like it's already happening, like you know them, and you're just writing to them. And they will energetically connect with you. Your souls will hear each other. So this letter also helps you get really clear on what's important to you in a relationship, right? So what are the things that are really important? So it could be dear life partner. You might know the name yet. I love that we're kind to each other. I love that we enjoy similar things. I love that we support each other to grow. I love that we have fun and joy and passion and just all the things that are important to you. Write about it like it's happening now. And as I said, it allows you to get really clear. This is what I want to feel in that relationship. And it's all about getting into the feeling of it and really knowing that you deserve that loving relationship. And somebody had written in one of the questions, well, what if I'm in a relationship and I'm not sure? Well, then you write that letter. You don't necessarily write it to your partner, but you write that letter about that relationship that you are ready to experience. So it gives an opportunity for that relationship that you're presently in to step into that. And of course, by making all of these beautiful changes in your home and in your life, you're saying, I would love that. I would love to raise the vibration of this relationship. I would love to invite my soul partner into my life. So just some examples, and I can share this PowerPoint with you all. But it's really asking yourself the question, like, what are the things that are important to you in your relationship? Even more importantly, how do you feel? Do you feel inspired, energized? Do you feel safe? Do you feel supported? Do you feel heard? Do you feel seen? What does the relationship specifically include? Like what you do together? Do you like to work out together? Do you like to cook together? What are those things that are important? And how do you share similar goals and interests, right? So just allow yourself to go really deep in that process. And, you can keep one of those copies under your pillow. You could put one in, wherever you want. Just remember it because it's really private where you place it. So you really want to meditate on that, what that feels like in that relationship and how you want to step into it.